Welcome to the TikTok M2 training. This is where you're going to be mastering the US only algorithm. My name is Celine, for those of you who don't know me, and today I'm going to guide you through one of the biggest changes in social media that we've seen. TikTok has officially split two separate versions for the US. So, one for the US and one for the rest of the world. So, this training is designed to help you understand why the split is happening and what it means for the algorithm. And most importantly, how can you adapt your strategies to thrive in this new environment? So by the end of this time together, you'll know the exact differences between the US and the international versions. You'll also know how the new algorithm works and what content strategies will perform best. Think of this as your roadmap to staying ahead while everyone else is still trying to figure things out. All right. So the M2 code name for the M2 is the code name for US only version of TikTok. Now, in software development, every time you're building new software, we give it a code name. Okay? Could be anything. So M2 just happens to be the nickname, the code name for the new version of TikTok. It exists because the US government has passed a law that requires ByteDance, which is TikTok's parent company, to either sell it to the US operations to fully separate them out so that um, so in order to comply, ByteDance has created a completely new version called M2 for the US only. Okay, so there's two key points here that you need to know. TikTok M2 is not just a copy of TikTok worldwide. It's a whole new application. It's a completely new environment and it's a completely new algorithm and it's trained for US only, so Americans only. Okay, so think of it as two separate servers, two separate databases. It's all completely separate. Okay. The data is not going to be transforming back and forth. Okay. So the timelines are going to be important here for you. It's September of 2025, which is where we're at right now. I don't have an exact date, but it's in progress. The US users will begin to migrate over to the M2 version. So by March 2026, the original version of TikTok for the US is going to be decommissioned. That means it's shutting down and you will no longer be able to use it. So that means that anyone not already adapted to the M2 version of TikTok risk using all their visibility in the US market. So this is really important for you to know. Okay? You got to stay ahead of the curve. So the separation wasn't optional for the ByteDance. Okay, it was required by U.S. law. The U.S. government raised concerns about three main issues. The first one was data privacy. So this was a fear that American users' personal data could be accessed or misused from a foreign government. The second issue was national security. So there were concerns that TikTok could be used to influence public opinion through politics or culture through its recommendation algorithm. And then number three, there were local control issues. Demand that American data must be stored in the US on US soil and only processed under US oversight. Now, This is not unusual to have. I'm in the software industry. We already have guidelines for the US that we need to follow. We have, especially there's federal laws that we need to comply with in the software industry. So this is just one more law that the US has proposed or set out that software folks need to follow those guidelines. So while it might feel a little inconvenient right now, the M2 rollout is actually about giving the US its own independent, secure version of TikTok. So for us as creators and marketers, it means that there'll be a learning curve, okay, how to work with the new isolated ecosystem. All right. So this slide is going to show you the real heart of the change. All right. Um, so the US TikTok M2 side, this is all the data will be collected, stored, and processed only in the US. Okay. Then the recommendation system will only learn from US behavior. So the algorithm is only going to draw from the Americans. Okay. The audience, the likes, the shares, the watch is all within the US. So that means trends will look different. It's going to look very different for you, and it's going to be very hyper localized. And that's a key point because that is going to help direct the type of content that you're going to be creating. All right. And so on the global TikTok side, everyone outside of the US keeps using the global version. So that includes me. The algorithm is trained on international behavior. So this will be across Europe, Asia, Latin America, Africa, and the northern and southern parts of North America. All right, so Canada and Mexico. So there will be no crossover. So the version that I'm using, which is the worldwide version, is not going to cross over to the US. So you're not going to be seeing any data transferring from one to the other. They are completely separate. The US is going to be only there, and the worldwide is only going to be worldwide. Okay, there's no crossover, no sharing of data. So, like I say, no crossover. The US data is not feeding the global algorithm for the worldwide global algorithm. So, global data is not feeding the US. Okay. There's no crossover. It's like a big brick wall, separate servers, no data is crossing. Those servers will not be talking to each other. Okay, that's really important that you guys know that. So this creates a wall between the two ecosystems. So what happens in the US stays in the US, and what happens globally stays globally. So let's talk about the algorithm shifts. So here's where the split gets real. Okay. Before M2, TikTok's algorithm was global. A video could go viral in Canada and suddenly take off in Texas or Berlin or South Africa. Content would travel across borders because the algorithm was learning from a massive worldwide data set. Well, that's changing now. So now that M2, we're going to see the opposite. Okay. So, first of all, virality is locked within the border. So a video trending in the US may never be seen in France or Brazil. Okay? The and cultural trends diverge. The US TikTok will take on its own flavor, separate from what's happening globally. And thirdly, the algorithm reset, it's just going to happen. The system will end up resetting. The system is new. So it's like starting a brand new algorithm that you need to train. Okay. So the creators will need to relearn what works in the M2 algorithm. So your content could change dramatically because now you're no longer creating content for a worldwide audience. You're creating content for US only. So it will be around your culture and around your communities. So think about that. This actually is a very huge opportunity for you. So don't think of this as a bad thing. All right, so with the reset, early adopters can dominate before the competition catches up. So this is why I really wanted to get this training out to you guys ASAP, because this is just happening right now in the news. It's really important that you have this information. All right. So if you're a US based creator and your content needs to shift with the M2 algorithm, here's 5 key strategies I want you to think about. Okay. So, first of all, hyper local content. So, the algorithm will heavily favor content that resonates with US audiences. So, think national holidays, sports references, US slang, and lifestyle themes like retirement, cost of living, the family, family life. Okay. Number two, analytics is going to completely reset. So don't assume what worked before is still going to work. Your analytics dashboard is going to be your best friend and will give you those clues with this new algorithm. So you're going to have to do more testing and tracking more and be ready to pivot. So that means your hashtags will pivot, your SEO tags. You have to think about all that when you're putting your video together. Number three, community building. So, with the borders closed in this software, you can't rely on global audiences to fuel your growth. You have to focus on building strong, loyal US communities. Okay? So that's why your content needs to be US local and all about your community. So I would do research about what is happening in your community and do content around that. Okay. Number four, watch time is king. So none of that has changed. The watch time is still really, really important. The longer people watch your video, the more the algorithm is going to keep pushing out your content. Okay. That's how the algorithm rewards you. The more watch time, the more your video gets pushed out. Okay. Number five, ads and monetization. So the US ad market will be more targeted and likely more profitable for you, but competition is also going to be increased, okay? It's going to visibly be increased. So give and take there. So let's talk about international creator strategy. So for international creators like myself, the strategy is going to look different. Number one, we have to focus on regions as well. So since the US visibility is shrinking or it's going to be non-existent, we need to lean into local and regional audiences. So I'll have to focus on UK and Canada and South Africa. All right. Number two, we'll need to play to global trends. So the global TikTok will still thrive on cross-border uh, virality, especially for Asia and Europe. Okay. Number three, multilingual content. So adding captions or voiceovers in different languages can help us broaden our reach. And then number four, we want to prepare for reduced US exposure. So if we were relying heavily on US viewers before, then diversify. We've got to diversify our audience strategy. I've noticed my my content is already down probably 600 views per video. So it's significant. So this is not the end of our opportunity. It's just a shift, okay? And it's just something we have to get used to, and we need to roll with this and think of this as a chance to strengthen your brand and own your market while the U.S. market becomes more insular, okay? So let's talk money monetization. This will also change. For US creators, ads will become more valuable because they are hyper targeted to the American audiences. So expect higher CPMs, that's cost per thousand views, since brands know their ads won't be leaked into other countries. So those brands are going to know that and then probably make more purchases. Okay. So this really could increase content creator payouts inside the US ecosystem. So it's a win-win for you guys. Okay. Don't think of this as a bad thing. For global creators, the US ads spend will no longer reach you at all. Okay. But regional ad budgets may increase. So as brands pivot to targets in their local audiences more directly. Okay, so the bottom line here is if you're a US content creator, this is your time to monetize with laser focus ads. If you're global, you'll need to pivot to strengthen your local market positioning. So let's recap the big picture. So TikTok M2 is a US only version with its own algorithm. It is US and global data are completely separate entities. Okay, separate servers, separate LDAPs, separate databases, completely separate. The data is not going to cross over from one to the other. It's really important that you guys know this. For US creators, the focus is hyper local content and community building. For the global creators, the focus is going to be on regional and multilingual growth. So, most importantly, this is a reset. So, for both sides, this is a reset. Whenever an algorithm resets, the playing field is going to level out. So, that means those who move fast and adapt early will see the biggest gains. So don't think of this as a barrier for you. Think of this as an opportunity to get ahead of the rest of the pack. All right. So my challenge for you is pretty simple. Don't wait. When the M2 officially rolls out here in September, just watch for it. I want you to start testing, start experimenting, and learning immediately. Watch your content and watch your dashboard for data information. Okay. And then by the time most people realize the rules have changed, you're already ahead of the game. So remember this phase. There's an adapt early, There's grow smart and then lead the M2 era. Okay. That's the mindset that will turn these changes into your advantage. So if you commit to understanding and applying these strategies now, you'll not only survive this transition, you will thrive it and conquer it. Okay? So as soon as this comes out, I want you to get going and build your business. Thanks, everyone.